Mark Consuelos reads AI-generated mock vows to Kelly Ripa and points out the AI got one thing wrong. On the September 12, 2025 episode of Live with Kelly and Mark, actor Mark Consuelos delivered a segment that married laughter, heart, and just a touch of AI awkwardness. Consuelos revealed that he asked an artificial intelligence tool to write mock renewal vows for his wife, Kelly Ripa, in honor of nearly 3 decades of marriage, but with one key detail wrong. Setting the scene. Consuelos, 54, and Ripa, 54, have been married close to 29 years. Over those years, their relationship has become familiar ground both for them and their audience, affectionate, playful, punchy, and full of banter. On their talk show, they often reflect on marriage norms, and what long relationships really involve. The Vows segment came during a discussion about how modern weddings and renewals sometimes employ AI to help with vow writing, particularly for couples who feel pressure to sound poetic, deeply personal, or uniquely clever. Consuelos noted that many brides and grooms are using AI to generate heartfelt, funny, or sentimental vows. These AI vows often cost nothing more than time and creativity, rather than hiring vow writers or spending hours agonizing over perfect wording. It was in that context that Consuelos decided, why not let AI try writing my vow renewal for Kelly? The prompt and what the AI produced. He gave the AI a fairly simple directive: write a short, funny vow renewal from him to Kelly, and include something about their dog, Lena. What followed was a vow that blended humor, affection, and a potency rooted in shared life, the kind of thing longtime couples can riff on effortlessly. Some lines, paraphrased, included: a self-deprecating joke, Kelly. I still can't believe I landed you. I'm pretty sure Lena can't either. She looks at me, really? Him. A vow to love, laugh, and pretend not to be intimidated by Kelly's organization. A promise to hold her hand through life and hold Lena when there's thunder. A sweet closing calling her his favorite co-star, best friend, and the only one with whom he'll share both the remote control and the dog. When he read it live, there were ahs from the audience, laughter from Ripa, and a sense of warmth. The segment worked both as entertainment and as a reflection of their 29 years together. The one thing the AI got wrong. After reading the AI vows, Consuelos paused. He pointed out that the AI had claimed Kelly is very organized. That, he admitted, was not entirely accurate, or at least he challenged the assertion. Kelly, in her usual quick wit, countered that she became organized because he forced her, or more warmly, because of his influence. It was a moment that distilled both the humor and the intimacy of their relationship, a concession, a tease, and a reflection of what nearly 30 years together can do to both people. So, the one thing the AI got wrong? The idea that Kelly is naturally or inherently very organized. In their view, the organization was something more complex, built, negotiated, perhaps reluctantly cultivated, rather than innate. Other highlights and context. The segment also touched on a few additional points which had texture. Cost and simplicity of weddings. Ripa revealed their own wedding cost only $174, a modest figure especially compared to modern weddings, which can run into thousands. She reflected on how vow writers and elaborate ceremonies are sometimes more about image or pressure than about genuine meaning. On elaborate vows and inside jokes, Ripa commented that overly elaborate vows can alienate wedding guests when they're full of inside jokes or personal references no one else understands. For her, the most meaningful vows are ones that others can feel, even if they don't catch every joke. AI and vows trend. By using AI, they illustrated a growing trend, people leaning on technology to help with personal, creative expression. Vows are deeply personal, but also performative, in weddings, in renewal ceremonies, even in social media. AI offers help, but it also misfires, as in the misjudgment about her organizational skills. Why it resonated: humor, imperfection, and relatability. This moment worked for a lot of reasons. 1. Relatability. Many viewers have someone in their life who is more organized, or someone who claims to be. That little jab about organization, forced or natural, is something many couples laugh about. It's a small imperfection, but it humanizes them. 2. Imperfection is charming. By pointing out the AI's error, Consuelos and Ripa show vulnerability. They show that AI isn't infallible and that real relationships involve negotiation, correction, and humor. 3. Balance of affection and banter. Their dynamic is grounded in affection but thrives on playful teasing. The segment let both sides shine. 4. Commentary on modern pressures. There is pressure in many social spaces, weddings, social media, public declarations, to be poetic, to be deep, to be perfect. AI is one way people try to manage those expectations. But this story gently reminds us that authenticity and laughter are powerful. What it suggests about AI in personal life and celebrity culture. This episode is more than just a funny moment. It reflects broader cultural shifts. AI as a creative tool. Increasingly, people are using AI for creative tasks, writing, art, even vows. On one hand, it lowers the barrier to entry. Anyone can generate thoughtful content. On the other, it raises questions of originality, authenticity, and personal voice. Celebrity transparency. By doing this live, on national TV, Consuelos and Ripa are being transparent about imperfection. This counters the stereotype that celebrities always get it right, always have grand gestures. They're showing the messier, more human side. Expectation versus reality. The AI's portrayal of Kelly as very organized is a small example of how machine learning and automated text generation can misinterpret or oversimplify personal truths. It highlights that even with good prompts, AI fills in gaps, sometimes incorrectly. Humor as coping and connection. Using humor helps with dealing with societal expectations about marriage, about public expression, about keeping up appearances. The way they lean into the flaw makes the moment more memorable. Possible criticisms and considerations. Of course, not everyone will see this segment as purely positive. There are some possible critiques. Over-reliance on AI for personal milestones. Some might argue that vows, even mock ones, ought to come from a human being's real heart, not generated by a machine. Even if just for fun, there's a risk that AI-generated sentiments become substitutes for thinking deeply. Authenticity versus performance. When you do an activity on a TV show, there's always performance. Even when acknowledging the error, they were performing for audience, for cameras. Some viewers might see that as less authentic. Simplification of personal traits. The misstatement about Kelly's organization points to a larger issue. AI systems don't understand nuance. They will assume or infer based on patterns, rather than lived experience. That can be funny, as it was here, but it can also mislead or create stereotypes.